Mama's looking after you.
Tattletail came out in 2016, and to this day, you will have weird little guys like me still talking about it because it's a really good game, and I want to explore that. What did Tattletail do that even to this day it still works? I don't like doing game summary, so let's try to see if we can do this under a minute. You're a kid and wake up in the middle of the night to sneak around and find your Christmas toy early. The following night you still want to play with your toys, so you go looking around for it. Things start to get a little weird. There's this thing that starts talking about Mama. On night 3, Mama starts chasing you around and it gets a little creepy, but not as bad. The more Tattletail starts showing out, the more you want to play hide and seek with them. They show you some VHS tapes with a body in the background that may or may not be their responsibility. Christmas Eve, Tattletail has suddenly multiplied and they want you to do all the legwork to prepare for that ritual to deal with Mama. And then you win, congrats, it's Christmas Day, you've received your present, it sounds significantly less possessed. Now, you can probably tell that the game loop is pretty short. There is an extra chapter, but I don't feel like we should be talking about it because it's more like layers of fear than the OG loop. And it's not what people think about when you talk about this game. All that boring stuff aside, let's get started. There is a chance that most of the concepts I'm going to be bringing up and making up already exist. I don't believe I'm saying anything particularly new or groundbreaking. I'm just yapping. Betrayal of innocence. One very common aspect in horror mascot is taking childhood things and corrupting them. Generally, this is done by taking something cute and whimsical and twisting them by adding teeth and stuff. Well, yes, creepy teeth and too many eyes can work, it's not compulsory. Have you ever seen Five Nights at Freddy cosplayers IRL? If you haven't, here are a few videos. If you didn't know that they come from an actual horror game, it wouldn't be far-fetched to assume this is a children's franchise. The same happens here. When the lights are on, it's just a toy. There's nothing creepy about it, or any of the toys, including Mama. They look normal. That is, in my opinion, an important part of corruption. This overtly kid-friendly toy becomes unnerving in the dark, not because it changes or does anything creepy. It is remarkable what it doesn't do. It doesn't change, it doesn't jump at you. Instead, it asks you to take care of it, to make sure that it's fed, that it's groomed, that the battery is charged. Yet, it is a thing that's putting you in danger, and as a child, you cling to it.
Me, Tattletail. Me, love you.
It comforts you or manipulates you, take your poison. But at the same time, this cute little creature is doing two things. One, guiding you to do a ritual to basically banish Mama. It's asking you, a child, to risk your life in a dangerous ritual. Your companion is betraying you for its own agenda. 2. Every time that creature talks, it's alerting Mama and putting you in actual danger. Do you know how many times I died because Tattletail decided to go, I love you? Yes, I am very annoyed, as you can probably tell by now. Now, that's part of the betrayal, but there's another one. The entire concept. The story is basically a child sneaking around to open a Christmas gift early. I know that due to different cultures, costumes, and economical situations, not everybody would experience something like that, but that's not the point. This is a completely normal behavior for a child. Being antsy about a special occasion and trying to find out about it early than expected is normal. It takes minor childhood mischief of sneaking around your own house at night and punishes it greatly. If you hadn't opened your gift, would this have ever happened? We will never know, obviously, and the game doesn't care about exploring that option. But it is an interesting question in a story like this. Will Mama have attacked you anyway? Why did it have to be during Christmas Eve? If you hadn't done this, you would have died, or maybe you had to wait until next year to do this. I know it's not that deep, but that's kind of the point. I have a shovel and like digging, don't worry about that. Game loop. There is no game without gameplay, that is obvious, but not every gameplay works with every concept, so it is vital for the game loop to agree with the concept. So what is the game loop here? I have to repeat myself, sorry, I have to. Every night you start waking up in the middle of the night and receive a task from, Satan. But you have to listen to that voice in your head. That is the only way I have to describe it. You get your toy, follow the instructions, and then put it back and go to sleep. Until Mama is introduced. She reacts to noise. Running and charging the torch cause noise. But also your entire companion that complains about everything. You need to give them up unless you want Tattletail to start whining and making noise alert to Mama, and you're ah! And then repeat this loop until the game ends. It's not complicated, it's simple to understand, and it doesn't overstay its welcome. That is a vital part for the game, especially in horror. While I am a fan of games with complicated gameplays that almost feel like they require you to go read the guide in the wiki, I do understand that not every game works like that. And this is a fantastic example of that. Horror is a genre that doesn't need to overcomplicate itself. But simple doesn't mean easy. There are plenty of things that could be very different in this game that would have been game-ruining. Last point is sound design. I believe that games, just like movies, are half visual and half audio project. Bad audio is game-ruining, the same way that bad sound production can turn a sad film into borderline comedy. The game is pretty quiet in general, unless Mama is chasing you, it's mostly atmospheric sounds. This makes the game feel very grounded, which in this case makes a lot of sense. This is a game with a noise mechanic, where if the enemy hears you, it's a game over basically. So what's important here is the sound of your steps, your torch being recharged, and of course, your companion. He becomes an extra difficulty. Not only considering the aspect that requires you to constantly be aware of his needs, so he doesn't start crying mid-chase. In my opinion, this is what makes it a pretty boring mechanic into something more interesting. In other games where sound matters a lot, it becomes very easy to just stay still, really, or basically come to a stop, or just sort of stop playing for a few seconds until the enemies just find out that they can't hear you anymore. Nothing ever really punishes you for doing that. Your companion has constantly depleting resources that you have to manage, so you can't just stop. I mean, you absolutely can. There's a moment where I got caught by Mama in a room and I honestly thought I was 100% game over. I just stood still there. I just stood still until it was over. There is, in my opinion, something very interesting going on. Tattletail and Mama are voiced by real people, then edited. It could have been robotic voices since this is a children's toy and those tend to have god-awful voice boxes, but it doesn't. The voice actors, unlike robot voices, have the ability to make inflections, which makes them more human-like. It adds to the creepy factor when the Christmas toy comes and the toy sounds like it's supposed to. Like a toy. It's very unsettling to go back and remember how it sounded the night before. It's the last bit of the puzzle sinking in. The voices were wrong from the beginning. In a way, your fate was already sealed. Your toy was already possessed. The entire point of what I'm trying to say here is that voice acting adds a lot and is really good in this situation. While this is a short game and usually forgotten, I think it holds a lot of value, especially as more modern mascot horror games seem to overcomplicate themselves in very different ways. It is a simple game that plays on the jokes that furries are possessed and executes it very well.